Hey y'all, Bearder Bros Golf Show, back at it again. I am Rod.
And I am Marcus.
Hope y'all are doing well today on this pre-election day. I know that's probably consumed a lot of y'all's lives, so just jump off early. If you haven't early voted in your state, I hope you got a plan tomorrow to go find your local polling place and get your vote, whoever you're voting for. Um, Come out of it, win, lose, or draw. It is what it is. We all move
Amen.
on, and like I said, if you did your part, that's all you can do. Got people in your circle to vote. That is all that matters. So, um, let's get into the show. Not
Yes,
much golf
sir.
this week. Not much
No,
golf at all. We had the LET going. We had the LPGA playing in Japan, which you had to correct me on. I was a week behind. And then we had the Challenge Tour as a part of the DP World Tour playing. Let's get into that real quick. Challenge Tour. Did you
yeah.
get catch any of the early morning Challenge Tour play?
A few times I caught it. Was looking for some familiar names. Didn't really see any. Um, the
Nah,
writing
you
guy or Raiden
the,
or
the one that ended up
Ratan,
winning.
the guy that won, his name seemed the most familiar, or his face did. Let's not be, let's be realistic. I did not know his name, but his face looked
Right.
familiar. But yeah,
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of it. I mean, congrats to those guys. And just like you said, I mean, the scoring ability is there. It's just like the Corn Ferry Tour. Them guys know that I need to go crazy low and I need to just outpace these guys because that's how I'm going to get into these field events. And then that's when I can start developing my par game and making sure that I can stick around even, not go balls to the wall, shoot 62 and shoot a 10 under and then wrap it around and shoot a 76 or something like that. I can't be doing that. I got to make sure that I am always going forward, never backwards. So I think that's what the tour little final did for them, and good on them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that watching it is that quality of golf, no matter where you're at, I mean, if you're playing on that level, it's very little fall off, right? So I think we've talked
Agreed.
about this that there's plentiful talent to refresh and refill where some of these major tours may be losing people where DP World Tour loses people to the PGA Tour as they ascend in their games. But again, there's no shortage of young guys that still view this as the pathway to success and the traditional way of going about golf, which is what you grind it out and make a name for yourself. Because I'm sitting there thinking as I'm watching these guys who are highly talented on the Challenge Tour, thinking, okay, what's the jump to when you become a known entity in our minds, right? So we're
Right.
watching them on the cutting edge of their careers. I'm sure the guy who ended up winning the season long tournament but ended up second place in this one, he seemed like he was a little more aged than the guy who ended up winning the tournament on Sunday, but which means he's been probably grinding it out for quite some time. But again, what's that next level that makes them a Tristan Lawrence in our eyes, the next Adrian Moronk?
Right.
That's where I'm interested to see kind of the next. And I really do wish that we had a chance to see more of the Challenge Tour. This was kind of a rare end of season deal, no other competing golf. But it was just cool to see that as, we get to see quite a bit of Corn Ferry golf stateside. It would be nice to see, somewhere where they're, again, resources are limited and you can't have cameras on every tournament that's playing. But it was
Right.
just cool as while nothing else was going on, to still see some high quality golf and see these guys go sticking around that course. And it was an interesting course as well. Um, so yeah, shout out to the Challenge Tour for stepping in for the big guys and filling the void.
Right.
Over on the LPGA, a a typhoon affected their third round. I was completely unaware of that until I think I looked up on Saturday and they were replaying in the early
Round
afternoon
two
round
again.
two. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? Are we just gonna not play the previous day's round? And of course, it was a shortened event due to weather, 54 holes. Marina Alex, I was rooting for her. She just seems like one of the bros. I think in an article I sent you, she said she was just ready for a beer. Ends up getting into the playoff, had a putt to win it on
Yeah.
18. Had a putt to win it, doesn't convert, ends up going into the playoff and losing in a 6-hole playoff to a Japanese young lady. I know I'm not going to even attempt to say her name, but was rooting for Marina Alex. She's had a tough season, really struggled quite a bit on the LPGA, but seems like she's rounding into form.
Yep.
How much of that did you catch?
I caught as much as of it as I could. So I tried to make sure I was home or, however it may be if I caught the replay because I mean we talked about it all the time. That's the golf we love to see. It's the golf that we're home for. So yeah,
Right.
I was real sad to see that she wasn't able to cash in Marina Alex. But I think putting yourself in that situation is still going to do better than you not. But I mean, when you have to go through, six playoff holes and can't get it done, that's pretty painful. I mean, you have
Yep.
played so many extra holes and you just can't close the door. But I mean, a Japanese woman won in Japan. That in itself is kudos in itself. So that's always
Yeah.
good. And then I think she played a really good final round. I mean, she had an eagle putt on 16. She hit it to like 5 feet. I mean, the commentators were calling it the shot of the day, maybe the shot of the tournament. Clearly, it was for her to end up
Yeah, for
winning. And
her.
yeah, I think she did. So they have two par fives in like the last like three holes or something like that. Because on
Yeah.
18, she pulled out three wood again and drove the green and had an eagle putt, but made the birdie to tie. And then Marina Alex had a birdie putt to win it, like you said. So yeah, um, the Japanese woman Rio Takeda, I believe is her name, did what
That
she was
sounds
supposed
right.
to do, and yeah, she came out and took advantage. So good on her.
Absolutely. I tried to tough it out and stay up throughout the playoff. I was good until they went into the playoff, and then
Oh,
I
yeah.
dozed. I
Yeah, I mean, I
lost.
was
It was
probably
close
after
to.
the
It was
second.
because I looked at the clock and it was right before 2 o'clock because I was seeing if I could catch the winding back for daylight savings time, and I ended up waking up, you know, just with the
Yeah,
TV on and the next morning. So anyhow, the ladies continue soldiering on the LPGA. They will be playing the Lotte Championship in Hawaii this week. They're going to be rounding out their season over the next few weeks. Then they're in the Annika Sorenstam tournament and then the CME Group Championship. So we're seeing the tail end of the LPGA season. Again, we'll have some late evening golf again with them playing in Hawaii. So that's cool. I mean, we're
yeah.
kind of continuing. Not as late as we've seen the last month, but yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, we're getting back to we're gonna have the PGA guys back in play this week at the Worldwide Technology Open as well. So we
Yeah.
get to imagine ourselves in the comforts of Mexico while they're out there. And get some big boy golf going on, and I think that DP World Tour is back playing again this week as well. So after a slow week, we get rewarded with a full complement of golf again.
Wow.
Also in
I
the ladies'
mean,
game. Go ahead.
I feel like they did a good job. You're going from Japan to Hawaii, not too crazy a flight. Then you're going
No.
from Hawaii to Florida, so that's way more manageable. It's not like you flying, a whole day's worth of trips just to get back stateside to play 2 weeks. So they have some time to recruit and before they make
Yeah.
their 2 weeks in a row in Florida. So yeah, that's what I was looking at. But go ahead, my fault,
And
Roddy.
and I think the Lotte starts on Wednesday, so they'll
Wednesday
have
to
an extra day
Saturday.
for travel. Yeah, extra day for travel, getting back across the country and dealing with any jet lag, and having an extra day to recover. So, shout out to the LPGA for some creative scheduling, doing their thing. Got to appreciate that. Um, So, also in the ladies' game on the ladies' European Tour, Charlie Hull captures her first win in 2 years since 2022
2 years.
by 3 strokes on that tour. So, the one thing that I did notice, and this is an old picture, so I'll just pull this up. So, this is Charlie Hull earlier in the year with her shoot for Malbon as she had converted to their team. So, just going to pull that up. But one thing that I noticed in the coverage of her win, Charlie's been in the gym, man. She's
Oh
looking
yeah,
very stout, and it's not just like to objectify her. Like legitimately, she's put on some muscle. I could definitely tell in her legs and calves were just a little, just different than earlier on in the season. And she also had mentioned that she was coming from the gym and had ran like 5 miles
yeah,
before the final round of the tournament. So she's taking her fitness very serious. And, I mean, the better shape you're in, the better golf you tend to play. So shout out to Charlie Hull. I don't know if you noticed that as well, but it was
yeah.
noticeable to me.
No, I keep up with her on Instagram and the socials and everything like that. And just like you said, not to be thirsty at all, but bruh, she definitely has put on some power, and she's talked about it though too though. She did a Q&A or whatever, when she had some time. She does not lift weights. She does all resistance, she does all body weight, and then she does cardio. So if she's not running, she's in CrossFit doing body weight stuff. And she created her own CrossFit gym for her neck of the woods over in the UK where she's staying. I don't know, exactly where she's staying over there in the UK. But yeah, she created her own CrossFit gym, and that's where she works
Hmm.
out when she's at home. Has a woman fitness trainer that she uses and everything. So yeah, she really has done the work. She's talked about it, and yeah, she's canceling out all them squares she's smoking. So I really commend her for that.
I don't know if you can fully reverse the toking of the cancer sticks. I don't know about that. If you I don't know
Yeah,
how
it's
much
gonna be a
running
hard
you'd have
fight
to do.
back.
Hopefully she can find a vape or something that's a little less detrimental to that habit or to her body
Yeah.
with that habit. I don't know. That's it's so strange seeing her lighting up a square in the middle of a round, but
No,
whatever,
I
man.
mean, just think. I mean, she's iconic for signing signatures and posters and hats with the square on the lip, as if she's
I
just
know.
our favorite auto mechanic in the neighborhood. Yeah, yeah.
That's
You need
right.
a carburetor? You need that carburetor?
Or
I got you right now.
or our dad reminds me very much of
Very much
pops,
so.
cigarette
Absolutely.
hanging off. We're gonna just cover her what's in the bag. She's a tailor-made staffer. Preemptive. I have no pictures. Her stuff is not available online like that with the actuals. So when I post this online in post, I'll add some stock photos that are available. So let's throw this bad boy up here again. Again, Charlie Hole earlier in the year with her Malbon gear. I think this was a good partnership fashion wise for
Oh
her to
yeah,
go with
no, she's
Malbon.
definitely stunned.
Yeah. Just more, they go with more progressive cuts. We've seen that with Jason Day, him going with the baggy, her going with the kind of fitted skirts and just form fitting, but flattering in a good way, right? It's not over the top, but I think very progressive and moving the game forward. So it's cool to see this type of clothing out there and kind of changing up what we see. So shout out to Malbon. I think they've done her line very well.
Yeah, she's definitely
Jason
showing the swag that Melbourne can have.
Yeah, Jason Day, not so much. Still, jury's out on that one.
Still being a dad.
So let's just hit the list real quick. So she's again tailor-made staffer. I hadn't said this in so long since Ping has been. Did we decide it's QI10 or Q10?
QI10.
Okay, QI10 with the low spin tech. If you see her swinging the club, you can tell she's very much a She generates a lot of spin with her clubs. Very steep,
Hmm.
a lot of club head speed through the ball. So no surprise here. A unique shaft with this, and she's also rocking her driver at 8 degrees. Not common for the ladies, but still gets a ton of hype on her driver. Atas Rockstar 6X. The 6X reminds me very much of the Ventus naming of a shaft. So
Yeah.
interesting there, but I had not heard of this particular shaft brand. Are you familiar with it at all?
No, sir.
Right. And this is one that she's played.
Uh,
This was also the same shaft was in her bag last year as well in the driver. So something that she's found in this particular shaft. Just a little tight on time. Didn't get a chance to do a lot of research into it, but something's there. Any other
yeah,
comments
it's a
here?
$400 shop, so it better be good.
Well, for pros, that's light work, right?
Let's see, and yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's a typical woman shaft, but it is a woman shaft. Like it has the
Mm,
stiffer flex, and she has it probably in X just for all the speed she creates. But it's a lighter
yeah,
shaft though, so she can create it. It's a 40 or 50 gram shaft.
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely
Okay.
something light that she can whip around and get through the ball very quickly.
Makes sense. Then the 15 degree QI10 Tour 3 wood, which I
Yeah.
think we talked about this earlier in the year. A lot of players not really playing the Tour, opting for more forgiveness, but again, not surprising for Charlie. And the Tensei AV Blue 75 stiff. I've said this many times when we've gone over the ladies' bags. A lot of really good amateur guys should look more at what really good pro women play in terms of their shaft profiles and clubs. This is
Yep.
exactly one of these that this is the same exact shaft that I have in my 3 wood. It's a ping that I'm playing, but the same exact shaft. I love this profile. I would not. I don't like the blue and the driver. It's way too spinny for me. But for what I like to see out of my 3 wood, it's a perfect profile. And you can see she's playing this one as well. Again, just their higher spin shaft in this Tensei blue. Then we move down to her hybrid, rocking the QI10 Tour again, 19 degree UST Maima iRod hybrid shaft. A lot of numbers here.
Yeah.
85 gram. Nothing surprising in terms of the weight. But she's all over the not all over the place, but it seems like she's got something very distinctive which with all of her woods that she's looking for. None of the shafts are matching.
The Atis is actually a UST shaft, so those are not
Ah,
not they're the same, but I mean they're made by the same people. But yeah,
yeah,
very
different
interesting
lineup.
name. Yeah, and that is unique, but I think it shows how much game that Charlie has and how much shots that she wants to make because she doesn't carry a 5 wood. She carries a 19 degree, which is, very similar. So that's what she's playing as that. And I think that bodes well for her in all her shot shaping capabilities. She moves it both ways. She moves it high low and she plays with a lot of spin on her ball. So yeah, I think that plays very well for her.
Yep, for sure. Moving into the irons, the P7 MBs, so a very much a players
Blade.
club, and yeah,
Yep.
straight blade, and also playing the 4 through
For
pitching
iron.
wedge.
Mm-hmm. Always
Yeah,
an iron.
so a lot of the ladies, again, this just speaks to how much speed that Charlie Hull generates. The fitness definitely works out in her favor. You see a lot of ladies playing hybrids throughout the bag, especially through the 4 iron. You'll see a lot of 4 hybrids, even down to 5 hybrids.
Five hybrids, six
Yeah.
hybrids, 100%.
So, like, respect to her for doing that. And then also playing the Nippon NS Modus NS Pro Modus 3 in 125 stiff.
Great shaft,
I mean,
by the
it's
way.
she's a beast. I'm sorry. Like
Great shaft.
these are some amazing specs. We've seen men's bags lined up like this. So shout out to her again.
Oh yeah.
MG4 Raw, the 50 degree 5460 standard club configuration for most players these days. I mean, they're really the only interchange you see is sometimes you see a 58 instead of the 60, but I mean, this is pretty much it. And then a similar Nippon Modus shaft in her wedges, a little bit lighter actually,
Hmm.
in her wedges than she's going with her typical iron. So that's an interesting change up, but hmm. And
Wow.
then moving down to the putter, excuse me here, the TP Soto. I'm sure that's one of the many, like, I don't know. Outside of the Spider line, I'm not a huge fan of what TaylorMade does with their putters. A lot of their putters seem to be knockoffs of everybody else. There doesn't seem to be much originality in the putter lineup for
Hmm.
TaylorMade. It's just my perception. Just when I've shopped out different putters, you don't see a lot of different unique stuff where you're like, I can't get this anywhere else. They're generally knockoffs
Yeah.
outside of the Spider to me. But I don't know. Tell me if you think that's different or if you see the
No, I
same
mean,
thing.
no, I mean that's spot on. Unfortunately, if you're not, really going crazy like a lab golf putter and really just throwing, caution to the wind and experiment, then yeah, you're gonna make sure that everything that you use is face balance. Everything that you use is forgiving enough, and everything that you use is definitely going to be appealing to the eye. A lot of people play the same things because they look visually appeasing to them. So the TP selection and her blade that she plays, I think it's a wider blade that she plays, but yeah, it is what it is. I think her
Yeah.
being a tailor-made staffer, she's gonna play that. If she wasn't, she'd probably play a Scotty or something similar to that. So whatever's clever for her blade that she likes, again, she's a player, so she wants to do player things. Now, if she felt like if she wasn't a good putter, then I think she would be gravitating towards whatever works best for her game. I mean, I think I don't know. The 19-degree hybrid to me shows that she's willing to experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if that's the only one you have, and then you're going straight into a 4 iron, you're trying to do some things. And we can
Yeah.
see that right here.
Well, like you said, she moves the ball both ways, so very creative and
Yeah.
likes the shot shape. I think, she's spoken in the past about her being ADHD and, really needing to focus in. So her kind of getting into her creativity on the golf course, I think lends to that, and just her
Yeah.
trying out some different things to keep her mind engaged and, shaping shots, which has caused her to also take some risks that maybe have put her in some troubles occasionally. But again, it's just fun to see talented players go do their thing. And then again, no surprise that she's playing the multi-layer TP5X. This is their
Yeah.
top of the top ball, so no surprises there. I did pull up a picture of her driver. Let me see, or excuse me, the putter. It is a blade, and I'm trying to. The name is. There's a ping putter that looks exactly like this one. You're more familiar with ping putters. Which ping putter does that look like?
The ping answer.
Yep, yep. The name was slipping my brain. And I mean, price point wise, that's actually pretty cheap for a putter these days.
Yeah.
Um,
The Pennant collection doesn't go anything more than like $300 for their
yeah,
top of the line. I mean, that's the same thing as Ping, unless you're going a PLD, which is a player design, which is about 350. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about putter price and Scotty Cameron's like middle of the road now because Lab Golf is more expensive, Bednardi
right.
in is more expensive. Yeah, you can definitely find a discounted Scotty a little bit more feasible than you can with some of these, Toulon names like that. Those are definitely
Yeah.
going to be up there and a little bit more pricey than a Scotty now. So it's crazy in itself to say.
That putters are getting. I mean, but we've said it. I mean, that's where your money is made as a professional, right?
Yeah,
And even if you're just as an amateur, saving strokes on the greens is how you shoot lower scores, get out of the 90s, start breaking
yeah,
80, break, into the 70s. It's all happens on the greens for the most part. So,
That's the piece of the
um,
game that's gonna last the longest in your bag, regard. Anyways,
hmm for sure. Take these glasses off; they are reflecting like a crazy person. Um, I want to get into any other like positive golf stuff before we get into our comment of the week.
um, oh, they're back in Mexico. They're in Tigers course, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I don't know. Malaysian golf is gonna be fun too. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do their usual and just play at TPC Kuala Lumpur or whatever that we always see every year. But it would be nice to see it again. Again
Is that for the
playing.
is that for the DP?
No, I think that's for LPGA. I don't know. They might
Okay.
both be on it. I really don't know. But
What are you talking about? You talking about this week?
oh, they are the
They're in
Japan
Hawaii.
the Japan Classic was the last one. That's on me. My fault.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
My
This is
fault.
the last week of the
You're
straight
right.
month. They're in Hawaii this week.
You're right. They had a 4 week swing and that was it. My fault. Anyways,
Yep.
disregard.
I was like, you lost me, bro. Yeah.
Disregard.
So I've spoken to like I hadn't been uploading as much, but last week we got into a semi. I wouldn't call it controversial to me, but I'm talking about two golfers that we just generally cannot support. Nicholas Echeverria and Taylor Moore, U of A, University of Arkansas products. And I posted a video. It's the most recent video up on the channel prior to this one. And it's about why we can't support them, an incident they got into where they took pictures of a young lady while she was drunk with no clothes on, or pulled up her clothes to take pictures of her. And there were actually there was another comment that was weird, saying comparing that they know 100 guys in their high school and
Very
college
weird.
life that have done something like that or worse. I didn't even respond because I didn't know how. I was like, there feels like
Right.
there
What do
should
you
be more to
think?
this comment.
Who are you agreeing
Exactly.
with? What lane are you trying to go with this? Oh, 100%.
Are
That
we
was
tr-
super strange.
are we, are we trying to normalize this one? But I got this comment this morning, and it really messed with me. And the way I prefaced that previous video was that I have a mom that I love. It's been very supportive in our lives. I have a wife, and I have a daughter that wife has produced. And so
Right.
women are important to me and how I value them, and to imagine something happening to women that I love is heartbreaking to me. So, again, I can't support those dudes as a result of this. And typical of people who come and troll, the syntax, the lack of punctuation, uh, random spacing all over the place goes with the sentiment of this comment. And it's like, do you like Tiger Woods? So he got arrested, paid for his crime, and now you're going to hold him to the fire? This is a straw man argument. Sexual battery or assault of some kind of sexual crime compared to Tiger's driving while under the influence of narcotics don't compare. And yes, as you can kind of see from my response, endangering other human beings by getting in a vehicle while you're under the influence is bad.
It's
100%.
not acceptable
People
either.
people have been killed as a result of that. However, um, it's a mistake, but maliciously taking advantage of a woman who is under the influence for your own personal gratification, that's different. It's completely different. This argument was so bullshit to me. Again, I saw this like first thing in the morning. As like I woke up, it came through, and I was like, I was making coffee at the time, and I just had to respond. It's just, I don't
Not
know.
even comparable.
Any normal person would just look at this and say, out of bounds, bro. Completely out of bounds. So,
Completely.
what do you got to say?
Well, I mean, besides the fact that this is completely not comparable, um, yes, we did talk shit about Tiger as well. But Tiger Woods was on pills and not drinking and driving. He literally was coming down the street after an operation he had had, and we went over this, and he read out the facts, and they went to court. And what ended up occurring? He was on the wrong prescription, or it was like the wrong like
Like
pills put
combination of,
together,
yeah,
right? The
yeah,
wrong combination, and that's what had him woozy and messed up. And again, he was going through his neighborhood from somebody else's house that lives in the same neighborhood. This was on a public campus in like a frat house or whatever compared to this. So again, not the same, not comparable, and completely on different levels. So yeah, I
yeah.
just think this was so awkward and so weird. And again, just really trying to
and
deflect from what was at hand.
the part that's kind of cut off of my comment because it was a lot that I responded, or a decent amount, is that if Tiger Woods tomorrow, if it was revealed that he had sexually assaulted somebody or had some sexual violation, I'm done. Like, it doesn't
Right.
matter
It's that
how
easy.
much it doesn't matter how much I like Tiger Woods. As soon as someone has violated, I can't mess with you. Guess what? Let's go through real life examples of people who have been put in this basket, and I can't roll with you. The original R. Kelly. I loved R. Kelly's music. Grew up
Right.
with it. Incredible artist. Can't I mean the amount of hits that R. Kelly has are ridiculous. But as soon
Do
as
not
R.
play his
Kelly was
music.
revealed, can I do it? Anytime R. Kelly comes on, I cannot do it.
Skip.
Same thing. I'm even though P Diddy doesn't have the hits, and he's still, it's alleged. It's alleged he's not been convicted of anything as of yet, but it's still, you get a weird feeling, a weird vibe to listen to the music and know what was going on in the background all this time. So there's a number of countless examples of people that have fallen into this sphere for me. And again, it goes back to people that I value in my life, and that is the basis for that. I might feel different if my life was different, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like most men have a woman in their life of some sort that hold something special to them. And if something happened to them in this regard, it would be a problem. I would hope,
Right.
at least. But anyway, stupid comment of the week. Had to address it. As we get back into the mode of posting more and getting more content out, I'm sure this may be a segment that we could keep going. We get some doozies every once in a while where it's just like, come on, bro. Like, I had to block somebody off of this chat not too long ago because they were going ham on some stupid stuff. So it is what it is. I mean, we're dealing with the internet and weirdo human beings, so you're gonna get weird stuff on the internet.
All right.
Um, let's. You could probably tell Rob who we're voting for. I support women. There we go. That's who I'm voting for.
Period.
Period. Period. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, this is an
Oh
election special.
man.
I don't have to say any names, and I mean, you vote whoever you people vote for is who you vote for. As we said at the show intro, if you whoever you support, hopefully you did whatever you could to rally people around you to vote for them, and we'll roll with the results of the election. It is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Um, let's get into a little bit of NFL. Let's touch on it.
Yeah.
The season is going by so damn fast, man. Um, Kind of stupid how fast. I looked up and I'm like, we already got 8 games
Trade
into.
deadline.
It's kind of nuts how fast this season is flying by. And yes, it's 17. Uh, oh, that's cool. Rob Jung says Anthony Kim knows he. Okay. Don't get me started on that one. I had to remove my followership because of that. And then we got Sam J. Um Yeah, man, half the season's already gone. We're going 17 games in the NFL. Super long season. I always preferred 16. It was just a nice square round
Right.
number, but the 17, I mean the last handful of seasons is kind of strange. Our hometown Cowboys lost Dak Prescott. We were gonna lose anyway on Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, the season is over because I mean, in my little group chat with my golf guys, we were saying I kind of did the math. We're already out of the division race, gone. Eagles are 6-2, and even though they haven't played that many division games, you still have to compete record wise to get up there. And then the wild
Yeah.
card is also essentially a done deal. And
They
especially
have to
after
go on a
this
crazy
week,
run.
they would have had to essentially gone 7-3 starting this past week to compete. And now that Dak's gone, not that he was contributing much to this season, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that this season is over. Um, I have not been to an actual Cowboys game in the new stadium. I said at this rate, I might be able to catch some cheapo tickets with people just bailing and go catch a game sometime on the cheap with the poor season that they're having. What
I
do you think
just,
about this, man?
man, I can't even bring myself to spend no fucking money on new Jerry World. That bum. Hey, he's killing me, man. Like, oh, it's so euphoric when people come in, random Cowboy fans, and they're like, man, I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. And me not just coming right out and be like, yo, I'm from Dallas, like I feel you. I'm still like, nah, man, it's all Jerry. And people are actually agreeing with me. They're in congruence. People are actually on the right side of history in this. And I'm enjoying it because people are finally realizing this dude won't stop and stay out of the way. He enjoys being a puppet master. He enjoys dragging people around. This case, it's McCarthy. McCarthy, we thought he was going to come in, have the right little, you know, he don't want to relinquish any power. And him and
Uh-huh.
Steven, they both need to just sit back and spend money. Again, we could have had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry would have solved a lot of problems. I'm not saying he would have been the end all be all, but we wouldn't have been
Yeah,
sitting here complaining about Dak missing throws that he's been missing for 5 straight years.
it gives
That
you a threat. It gives you a threat. Nobody's worried about Ezekiel Elliott. And the fact that Zeke Elliott had to be benched this past week due to disciplinary issues, like, bro, dude, grow up, son. I mean, at this stage of your career, should you be
right.
getting benched due to discipline? That's ridiculous. I'm going to pull this comment up, but we'll get back to it as soon as we wrap up the football. Any truth to the PGA Live merger? Well, I have thoughts on this. Um, but yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question. Outside of the Cowboys, since our season for the team that we typically cheer for is done,
Oh, my
outside
secondary
of
team,
outside of our division, who is your secondary team? You can't. So if in a world where blasphemy doesn't exist, I would root for the Washington Commanders, but that I can't root within the division. Who is your secondary team?
my secondary team is always going to be an AFC team. So there is no riffraff or any kind of skip scabs and squally wags and none of that. No
Okay.
squabbles. Baltimore, come on now. I'm riding with New
Nah.
Era A.
Okay, you think they're on the? I was worried about them early in the season, but they after this last week's blowout, I think they're legit for sure. And like you said, they got Derrick Henry. Homeboy is like the beast of all. He's just
Yeah,
like out of this world. Probably not a human, like a cyborg. To build
1,000 yard
that
season
dude,
already. Yeah, I know. And he runs like a 4.4, 4.5, like easy.
crazy.
Runs
So my team,
upright.
if I know. He's all that. My secondary team is the Detroit Lions. I think they're legit, bro. Something about
I,
the way that they go out and get physical. That's my team.
they
Secondary
look better
team.
this year. They look better this year. They're more believable this year, but I don't know. I still feel like Dan Campbell is going to outsmart himself at one point. I think they're still pretty fraudulent. I think, um, yeah, man, if it's not Kansas City or Baltimore, I really don't have like a definitive, like, yo, like they're in a running. But I
Yeah.
do like Jalen Daniels. I'm still super sad to have lost Dan Quinn, especially the way our defense is looking with Mike Zimmer. I don't know if Mike Zimmer is trying too much, not implementing enough what he's got
Bro.
going on, but they not believing
The,
in it and he not believing in it. So I'm
the
not with
whole
it.
there's the whole thing is gonna get blown up next year, and the sad thing is it's not gonna change a damn thing. So it sucks.
Yeah, bro, Rob, it's
Um
crazy. I mean, so when you say this, I think about the baseball field. These guys are cranking it
right.
450 feet. That's 150 yards, bro. Some of us are hitting a 9 iron out of the stadium like it's nothing from home plate.
I know.
The comparisons is crazy, bro.
It
I sit
is
here and
it
think about
is
that all the
crazy.
time.
It is crazy.
Oh my god.
So let's pull this one up. Mickey C, any truth on the PJ Live merger? So, Mickey, we've been talking about some of the things. There were a lot of signs. I know nothing's done until it's on paper, but there's a $2 billion deal on the table for Live to pay the PGA Tour to merge in. So that's a lot of money. That's a shit ton of money. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't read the details on how long that's going to be spread out, but there were a lot of signs that were afoot going into, I would say, the last, not a couple of weeks, but prior to that. It seemed like every week there was some drip, 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 and signs that that door was going to be opened up. And it was nothing major, just little things that were like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the noise talk between the leagues have slowed down. Namely on the Greg Norman side, he's been really quiet over the last half of their season, not throwing as many shots towards the PGA, insulting people directly, calling Rory out of his name, things like that slowed down. And even the kind of ex Twitter trolls that support Live have slowed down. So it's really small things. Um, I want to say one of the things that also kind of popped up a few weeks ago that we missed initially was that Liv tried to kind of undercut the PGA Tour and do a kind of a side door deal with the DP World Tour, and they were rebuffed and pushed back. And I
No,
was
we
like,
talked about
okay,
that a little bit.
we talked about it, but it was just again one of these signs that Liv was trying to keep the door ajar, right? They stopped
Yeah.
being the bully on the block and trying to force their way in through force, or pretty much that whole we're going to be better than you and spend more money than you, that started to slow down. And of course we started hearing about financially for the players what some of the guys who went over to Live may have to give up to actually make it work. Um, Again, more direct comments from certain players talking about, oh, I would have went, but there was no, it was like some little trickles here and there that we had been
Yeah.
talking about. And I said, I think this thing is going to happen. So, let's see here. Go ahead and I'm going to pull up some of these comments from Rob while you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, I think well, for sure we talked about the penalties because they want John Rahm on the Ryder Cup.
Yep.
So if John Rahm not paying the bread and putting it up, who's gonna pay these fines for my man's to get back on the tour? That's question number one. Question number two, Tyrrell Hatton, how much money is coming out with him? Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. They want to try. They want to try to legitimize the live tour as much as possible. So they're going into some of these feeder tours and seeing if they can get some points. And next thing you know, like the Indonesian event that they had last week with Peter Uline,
Uh-huh.
up at the front, bro had his shirt
Yeah.
untucked, bro was in
He- he-
shorts. I mean,
heavy
bro,
pre- heavy presence on the DP World Tour at the end of this year. They
Yeah,
were, I mean, Pat Reed was playing damn near every week. John Rahm, which we talked about earlier in the year, needed to get a certain amount of events in on the DP World
I think he
Tour
played 4 straight
to,
weeks,
yeah, to
and that's what he
qualify
had
for
to
the
do.
Ryder Cup next year. He had
Yeah,
to. It was required.
yeah, hmm
Didn't pay his fines, made an appeal so that he could play while it was under review. So yeah, there were some very obvious signs of this happening. Again, until the ink is dry and we know all the details, like, hey, is Liv just gonna pay all these fines for these guys? Are
they
they gonna
have
have
it.
to give up money?
They have it.
I
They have
know,
it.
right?
Maybe they need. Listen, if you don't want to pay it up front, Piff, you need to reconstructure. You need to restructure these contracts. Then, all right, monthly. This is what you gonna pay back to us. That'll take care of the fines that we gonna pay in y'all's behalf up front. Something like that. Again, these folks that y'all promise money to not gonna try to come up off that money. They gonna try to wait it out and see if they can get back on clean and scot free. We all know clearly these last 3 or 4 years that's not gonna slide. Somebody gonna have to put some money up before this thing is gonna all be, really conquered or resolved, however you want to say it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Liv has been trying to undercut both main tours, and they're going to continue to try to do that until we got something on paper. Like you said, they this is like the second time that they tried to do this with the DP World Tour because they want these people to get world ranking points so that they can get in some of these other events and get into the
Yeah.
majors and things like
Because
that. So this isn't
the
nothing
the
new.
truth the truth is that a lot of those exemptions were starting to run dry. And yes, the best of the best are going to be good for a handful of years. Your Bryson DeChambeau's, who just won the U.S. Open, Rom 2 years out from the Masters. He's got
Yeah,
5 years on all the other ones. Clearly, a lifetime to the Masters. Um, a lot of the other ones were starting to run dry. You had Terrell Haddon that still is pretty up there on the official world golf rankings, that he was going to be able to get into a lot of these without issues. But we've seen Joaquin Neiman complaining for 2 years about not getting entry into certain events.
but
But
doesn't
again,
want to
not
play these
playing.
off-field events.
We don't see him on the DP World Tour. He'll sneak in. Well, I shouldn't say that. He played in some Australian events at the end of last year that were associated with the DP World Tour, but hadn't been out there at the end of this year, teeing it up. So, I mean, this was coming. It was inevitable, and the truth is, they were going to be without a TV deal after this year. Them and their CW deal was going to run out at the end of this year, or ran out at the end of this year. We saw no talks with anybody else trying to advance that forward. The writing was on the wall that this was going to happen, or they needed to push for it. So there's a tweet from Nuclear Golf that I was trying to get up on Twitter, but essentially it says the Sun in the UK is reporting that a deal between the PGA Tour and Liv is close to being finalized and is pending final approval. Valued at 1.3 billion USD, Liv will reportedly pay its events under the PGA Tour umbrella, play its events under the UP Tour umbrella, and get an 11% stake in the tour, which is interesting, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be playing side by side with the PGA Tour. It says they're going
Right.
to be playing under the umbrella, so that'll be very very interesting. So yeah, it hasn't been confirmed by any major news sources. And it says I like the changes that the PGA Tour is cutting field sizes. I don't know. I'm not as big of a fan, Mickey. And if you can comment why you like it, I here's why I don't like cut field sizes. Is that I think over the last 3 years we have we've seen a lot of players kind of figure out how to step into the limelight and play better golf to garner the attention, right? We're learning new stories.
Yeah.
We need to replenish who the stars are in the game. And I think when you reduce field sizes, it cuts that off, right? There's somebody that's not going to make a field that, may have ended up making the cut, goes on to win a tournament that we're not going to find out about. So for that reason, I'm kind of iffy on the reduced field sizes. I don't know. You tell me what, if you can, why you like the reduced field sizes. I don't know. It just feels like it limits opportunities for guys that, again, are super talented. Earlier in this show, we kind of talked about how the Challenge Tour, a lot of talent that we don't know about over there, but when you see them and put eyes on them this
Yeah,
weekend, they got a chance to be featured on Golf Channel. Really good golf. I mean, high quality. They're sticks. I mean,
yeah,
they're truly just, they're not far off from what we see week in, week out on the Corn Ferry Tour. Really
yeah.
talented guys that are trying to get to that next step. So the world of golf is super talented, especially on the highest of levels. So let's see here. I think it will make guys play harder. Pots will be bigger and rounds faster. I got you there.
I
We
mean,
are, yeah, I get it.
Mickey, I agree, but we got to get into how the PGA is run. Unfortunately, we have talked about this multiple times. I don't know how many shows you've caught. Appreciate you all interacting, but please, dude, if these guys up top in the higher offices will not implement these slow round penalties, take these strokes off, take this money back, we can't get 80 player fields, no cuts or with cuts and count and get 3.5 hour rounds, 4 hour rounds. These guys still want to step off yardages from the yardage marker because they will not allow non-slope rangefinders. This is
I
the
know.
things that we are still battling. But I am on the fence with limiting field sizes. I too want to see the emergence of the young guys, the emergence of the Corn Ferry Tour, the emergence of the DP World Tour. But when it comes to why we are not doing that, it's because these idiots dropped the World Golf Championship Series. I will keep reiterating that time and time again. These clowns mess it up for everybody, and that being the PGA officials, that being the PIF, because if we all still have all of our stars in these legitimate tours, we're having 144 player fields, and then on these off-field events, that's when you have your WGC 78 player, 58 player, 60 player, whatever, non-cut
Yeah.
events with the bigger purses. You have official world golf ranking points. If you are qualified in the top 50 plus major winnings from the previous season, then yes, we will have these elevated fields. But when you have goofies in office and
The PGA
separate
Tour has
tours,
been run so badly for sure.
exactly, this is the things that impede us from lessening fields and upping these pots even more. Again, I am all for it, but let's get into what Rob has to say because Mickey, you got me hot, and I love that you asked that, but it's just reminding me how badly ran we are right now as a PGA in encompassing all
Yeah, that's why
encompassing right now.
this is why we can't have nice things and bring back match play. Jesus Christ! Somehow
Yo,
bring back match play.
listen, you telling me if PIF or PGA comes out and advertises a multi like a big pot for match play. Okay, here's how it could work. You do it a 5 week series, right, Roddy? You do
Yeah,
it regional. Okay, North America, Mexico, Canada. You're gonna have 140 players, right? We're gonna work that down to 16. You got a South American field. We're going to work that 140 down to 16. You got your Europeans. We work that down to 16. Then you have your Asian, your Australasian,
I don't know
144.
if
You work that
I
down to
don't know if we can
16.
I don't know if we can pull 144 from some of these regions, but
Okay, then
that's a little
expand it.
ambitious. That's a
Right.
little
Okay, so
ambitious.
So we do GBI and like Spain and some of that, or we do mainland Europe, and then we do African. We do the African nations. Then we do the Asian nations.
Why are you wilding? I'm gonna cut you off. You need to
But I'm
game plan
saying
this
though,
idea.
I mean, what are we doing? We add in one more little region. That's about
I
it.
I get it. I get it. We just need we need. I would like this opportunity of this merger to do what the PGA Tour, the golf world, let's just call it the golf world, should have done in the first place, which is get creative, make it, create
And not
stars,
eliminate
figure
it in
out,
the first place.
yeah, figure out a way to get some of that back. And I know they theoretically have told us they've replaced it with the elevated events, but I don't think it's got the same luster. We'll see.
It's corny.
We'll see what it looks like when the groups are combined again. Again, we're only getting like 10 maybe like super elite players back from live that we give a damn about. Like if I never saw Phil Mickelson swing a golf club again, my life is not changing, right? Do I want to see how good Bryson DeChambeau is week in, week out against the best players that the PGA Tour has created now? I want to see him play against Scotty Scheffler to see who legitimately is number one in the world. I want to see if Rahm can consistently stay on weight and keep himself in shape and play the golf that we saw 2 years ago when he was came out the gates killing it, right? That's what
Yeah,
I want to see, and we'll get a chance to do that again.
yeah. I
Rob, thank you for
really,
this question. Go
I'm
ahead.
excited to see John Rahm complain about officials instead of fans.
Whatever. And again, another person I could, if I never saw him swing a club again, Sergio Garcia. If I never saw that man swing a golf club again, I'm gonna die. Okay,
I
I
I
promise.
mean, Bubba
Um,
Watson, Louis Oosthuizen, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter. We can go down the list, but
yeah. How do you guys?
I
How are
miss
you feeling
Brooks.
about the TGL? Are you anticipating that? What do you think about it?
Uh, well, now that they got it, I mean, hopefully we don't run into any more, natural disasters and stuff like that, and it pops off just fine. I think
I,
it's
I
gonna
think
be
that was
fine.
I think that was intentional, but they're like, "Hey, collapse that tent. This is not. This ain't the good time. A good time for this." I don't know. I'm at the point where I could take it or leave it. If they decided, like, look, we got enough going on, and with this merger, we're gonna scrap TGL. I'm kind of okay with that. Um, as an adult, I kind of only have so much eyes for TV, right? Like I can only fit so much TV into my day, especially playing the amount of golf that I want to play, just like my own golf. TV doesn't get a ton of my time, so I don't know. I feel like they're not doing a great job to me of marketing the product. We don't know what it's going to look like ultimately. Um, it's still kind of a
Yeah,
mystery, so it's
I
hard to
do
get
feel like we're
excited about
seeing
it.
it in spurts. Yeah, I feel like we're seeing updates in spurts. We're getting, not saying love bomb, but we're definitely it's just like bam TGL, bam new team. This is what we got going. Oh, listen to us talk about the TGL. The next thing you know, we're not talking about the TGL at all.
Right, right, right. It's weird. It's definitely the redheaded stepchild right now of the products that they have to offer. Let's see here. Go through some.
Bars, bars, Sam,
I appreciate
bars,
y'all. We're getting a lot of stuff.
Sam.
I
I'm
appreciate this one. We mix Brooks too. I love Brooks. I'm a
absolutely.
Brooks fan. We love him. Well, the love started when he got with Nike. I love his attitude as a golfer. He's like he gives no f's about other guys, so love it. I put Anthony Kim together with Sergio in the not miss category. Absolutely. And that's what I got tired of with
Bars.
the whole live product. It was all about gimmicks and driving the storyline. We paid attention to Anthony Kim for all of about 2 weeks, and
2 weeks.
then dude couldn't. He was having a hard time breaking par. Not a story. I mean, if he wasn't like in this exemption category for them, he wouldn't even
Right,
matter. I mean, he wouldn't have a
right.
place to play. So we'll see if they even stick with him going forward because he wasn't an asset. And I'm not watching indoor golf. Exactly. It's like going and
It's
watching some
tough,
dudes
JP.
at it's like going and watching dudes at freaking Top Golf. No, thank you. It's like gonna be super mid. It's gonna be super mid.
Rob, yeah, Rob did say he was in Canada, so I get it. I'm
I feel
sorry.
bad for y'all. I feel
Right,
so
bro.
bad for you.
11 and a half months out the year we playing golf. It's maybe
um
2 weeks where it's weather related that we're not playing golf. That's tough, bro.
literally. There was 1 week out of the year last year that I did not play golf. One
Like
week. I'm
it
s-
would pain me. Like you talking about last round in October, next round is in March. Man, hell no.
yeah, yeah, Rob.
Hell
When
no.
what's his name? Anthony Kim would go on a run of like 3 bogeys in a row. I'm like, relatable, bro. I got you. Like,
Facts.
I feel your pain. And then, that first round he played, homeboy
Woo!
like a straight top to shot. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Buddy was for
out
sure looking
there,
like one of the homies.
bros. I mean, we called it early on. Straight out there in some off the rack clubs that he wasn't even fitted for, and then we
The
got we got
people
shat
thought
we got shat on for saying that when we did his what's in the bag and said these are some off the rack clothes for somebody who's got some decent money for some good money. It was just straight Titleist generic stuff, and it was like, no, no, no way, he's got fit. And then this caddy came out and said, we don't even know his true numbers. We're just guessing this thing.
that
Anyway,
was the
bro.
most insane week ever. Cause I swear to God, we definitely was like, yo, like I could pop in the Golf Galaxy right now and grab this. I could go into
Right.
PGA Superstore right now and pop off with this for under
The,
3K
the
type shit.
the only thing that was like super was unique was the Scotty Cameron that he had in the
Was the
bag with
Scotty
that
Cameron. Yep.
yeah.
That tour
All
joint.
right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think look at that. We got a goddamn hour out of the like 3 golf tournaments. I appreciate everybody in the chat today. Super appreciate y'all. Made it fun. Thank y'all
Absolutely.
for coming through. Again, a reminder: if you're in the U.S., excluding Rob, go vote. Go vote for your heart. Go vote for our country. May the best woman or man win. Bearder Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Go hit that subscribe button. We'll be back every week. If you don't know, go check out our library. We're here every single Sunday or Monday. Holler.